The galaxy was vast, old, and cruel. It believed it understood everything that mattered. Strength was measured by fleets. Intelligence by ancient science. Worth by power. In all of that, humans barely existed. Most species thought humans were myths. A weak race from a small blue planet that never ruled anything. No great empires. No godlike weapons. Just stories buried in old records. On the edge of known space, there was a forgotten trade station. No flags. No armies. Just tired merchants, broken machines, and people trying to survive. That was where the human lived. He was an engineer. Quiet. Ordinary. No rank. No titles. He repaired tools, cleaned systems, and kept old machines running. No one noticed him. No one cared. And that was exactly how the galaxy wanted humans to be. Every day, the human followed the same routine. Wake up. Work. Eat. Sleep. Nothing special. Until the day he saw her. She was an alien girl from a species known for one thing, blindness. They were born without sight. They lived without it. They died without ever seeing the stars they traveled through. The galaxy accepted this as natural. The girl walked slowly through the station, her hands searching the air. She stumbled often. People moved around her, not helping, not caring. This was normal to them. The human watched from a distance. He saw how she struggled to find her way. He saw how others avoided her, as if her weakness was contagious. Something inside him felt heavy. Humans had a problem. They noticed things they shouldn't. They felt things the galaxy had learned to ignore. The human did not speak to her at first. He only watched. Day after day. He learned her routine. He saw where she fell. Where she hesitated. Where she got hurt. At night, when the station slept, he began to work. He used broken lenses, old circuits, and discarded parts. Alien technology was powerful but rigid. Human technology was simple, but flexible. It adapted. It learned. He didn't know if it would work. No one had ever tried to cure blindness in her species. The galaxy had decided it was impossible. Humans were bad at accepting impossible. Weeks passed. The visor took shape. Small. Light. Rough around the edges. Not beautiful. But human creations were never about beauty. They were about purpose. The day came when he finally approached her. He spoke gently. Slowly. He told her he built something. He told her it might not work. He told her she could say no. She said yes. When he placed the visor over her eyes, the station continued as normal. No alarms. No warning signs. Just silence. Then she gasped. Her body froze. Her breath caught. Her hands shook. She whispered a word her species rarely used. Light. People stopped walking. Machines hummed softly. The human held his breath. Tears fell from her eyes. She looked around wildly, seeing shapes, colors, faces. The ceiling. The floor. The stars beyond the glass. She laughed. She cried. She collapsed to her knees. The station was silent. No one spoke. No one moved. Fear spread faster than joy. Because something impossible had just happened. Across the galaxy, long-dormant sensors activated. Ancient systems detected a signal they did not recognize. A human brain interfacing with alien biology in a way never recorded. Alerts were sent. Councils were summoned. Military channels opened. One simple question echoed through the stars. How did a human do this? And why was the galaxy suddenly afraid of one quiet engineer who should not exist? The girl did not sleep that night. She sat near the window of the station, staring into space, afraid that if she closed her eyes, the stars would disappear forever. Every light felt new. Every shadow felt alive. The universe was no longer a sound or a feeling. It was real. The human watched her from a distance. He did not smile. He did not celebrate. Humans knew a rule the galaxy often forgot: every miracle has a price. By morning, the station had changed. People whispered. They pointed. Some stared at the girl with wonder. Others looked at the human with fear. No one asked how he did it. They were afraid of the answer. The girl walked without touching walls now. Her steps were careful but confident. She studied faces closely, as if trying to understand emotions through shape and color. When she looked at the human, her eyes softened. "You didn't treat me like broken," she said. He replied simply, "You weren't." Her species had never been studied this way. The visor did more than give sight. It translated light into patterns her brain could understand. But something else happened too. She could see things others could not. Energy lines around machines. Hidden signals in the air. Even emotions left faint colors around people. Fear was dark. Anger was sharp. Calm was clear. This frightened her. Across the galaxy, data arrived at places that had not spoken in centuries. Ancient networks compared signals. The same result appeared again and again. Human design logic detected. Not stolen. Not copied. Created. Scientific councils argued. Some denied it. Others demanded answers. One truth was clear: if humans could fix what the galaxy accepted as fate, then nothing was safe. Military leaders thought faster. They did not ask why the human helped her. They asked what he could do next. On a distant command world, four elite soldiers stood before a dark screen. They were chosen not for mercy, but for control. Each one represented a different force of the galaxy. Together, they never failed. Their mission was simple. Locate the human. Secure the device. Contain the threat. They were not told to destroy the station. Not yet. The galaxy preferred silence to war. As the soldier's ship moved through hyperspace, the girl suddenly grabbed her head. Pain surged through her vision. Bright warnings flooded her sight, red lines cutting through space. She saw the ship before sensors did. She screamed. The human rushed to her side. She told him what she saw. Not words. Feelings. Pressure. Fear. He understood. Humans had survived not because they were strong, but because they listened. The station alarms finally sounded. Ships fled. Doors locked. Security forces panicked. A massive shadow appeared outside the window. The elite soldiers had arrived. Their presence crushed hope. Their weapons were silent but ready. They demanded surrender. No threats. No anger. Just certainty. The station authorities pointed at the human. The girl stood in front of him. She could see now what the galaxy truly feared, not the visor, but the idea behind it. Humans did not accept limits. Humans saw problems as challenges, not laws. The human placed a hand on her shoulder. Calm. Steady. "I won't run," he said. Outside, the soldiers prepared to enter. Inside, the galaxy held its breath. Because for the first time, a human invention had forced the universe to react. And reaction always came before regret. The air inside the station felt heavy, as if space itself was pressing inward. People hid behind doors and consoles. No one wanted to be seen. No one wanted to be remembered. The 4 elite soldiers moved with perfect control. They did not rush. They did not shout. They walked as if the station already belonged to them. Their armor was dark and smooth, built to resist every known weapon. Their eyes were hidden. Their faces unreadable. Each step echoed like a warning. The human stood still. He did not carry a weapon. He did not hide. He only watched them approach. The girl stood beside him. Her hands trembled, but she did not step back. Through the visor, she saw something that made her chest tighten. The soldiers were wrapped in layers of fear, thick and sharp. They were trained killers, but even they were unsure. The lead soldier spoke at last. "Human engineer. You will come with us. The device will be surrendered. No harm is required." His voice was calm. Too calm. The human nodded once. "You can take me," he said. "But you don't take her." The soldiers paused. They had expected resistance. Or panic. Or anger. They had not expected conditions. The second soldier scanned the girl. Data streamed fast, then stopped. The readings made no sense. "She is altered," the soldier said. The human shook his head. "She is healed." That word caused a ripple through the soldier's stance. Healed was not a word used lightly in the galaxy. It meant something had been wrong. It meant someone had failed to fix it. The lead soldier stepped closer. "You used unknown methods. This threatens balance." The human looked around the station. At the broken walls. The tired faces. The ignored lives. "Balance for who?" he asked. No one answered. The girl suddenly gasped. Through the visor, her vision flared. Lines of light connected the soldiers to distant systems. She saw commands waiting to be sent. Orders ready to erase. She grabbed the human's arm. "They will silence everything," she whispered. "Not just you." The human took a slow breath. He had planned for this. Not for soldiers, but for consequences. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small control unit. Not a weapon. A link. The visor changed. The girl's vision widened. She could now see beyond walls, beyond metal. She saw hidden cameras. Locked channels. Emergency codes. The station systems woke up. Lights flickered. Doors unlocked. Messages spread across screens. The soldiers raised their weapons. "Stand down," the lead soldier commanded. The human did not move. "I won't fight you," he said. "But I won't stop either." The station speakers crackled. Old defense drones activated, slow, weak, outdated. Not enough to win. But enough to delay. The soldiers advanced. Precision. Control. They disabled drones without effort. Step by step, they closed the distance. The girl's breathing quickened. She saw something else now. A future path. A moment where the soldiers reached the human. She stepped forward. "I choose this," she said. The soldiers hesitated. Her voice carried weight. Not power. Meaning. She removed the visor and held it out. "I can see because of him," she continued. "If that scares you, then the problem is not humans. It is you." Silence fell. For the first time, the elite soldiers questioned an order. Outside the station, distant ships slowed. Across the galaxy, observers watched live feeds. They were not seeing a battle. They were watching a human stand unarmed before power, and refuse to kneel. And that refusal was more dangerous than any weapon the galaxy had ever faced. The silence inside the station was heavier than noise. The 4 elite soldiers stood frozen, weapons raised but unmoving. Orders were still flowing through their armor systems, flashing in sharp symbols. Capture the human. Secure the technology. End the anomaly. Yet no one moved. The alien girl stood between them and the human, holding the visor with both hands. Without it, her eyes were once again dark, but her face was calm. She no longer needed sight to understand what was happening. She could feel it. The lead soldier finally spoke. "Step aside," he said. "This does not concern you." The girl shook her head. "Everything that happens next concerns me." That answer disturbed them more than defiance. The human took one slow step forward. He did not raise his hands. He did not shout. His voice was steady, almost tired. "You came for control," he said. "I understand that. The galaxy runs on control. But I didn't build the visor to break rules. I built it because someone was suffering." The second soldier reacted sharply. "Suffering is not a reason to change nature." The human looked at him. "That's where humans are different." Around them, the station systems hummed louder. Old screens came alive, showing data the galaxy had tried to erase. Records of species labeled unfixable. Lives marked as acceptable loss. The girl's species was not alone. The soldiers scanned the data. Their movements slowed. This was not part of the mission. "You hide behind balance," the human continued. "But balance that ignores pain is just fear wearing a crown." The lead soldier raised his weapon again. "Enough." The girl stepped closer to the human and placed the visor back on her eyes. Light returned. Her body stiffened for a moment as the system synced again. Then she gasped, not in fear, but in shock. She could see the soldiers clearly now. Not their armor, not their weapons, but what was inside them. They were not monsters. They were tools. She turned to them. "You were taught to obey," she said softly. "Just like my people were taught to accept blindness. Different cages. Same chains." The third soldier faltered. His weapon lowered by a fraction. His system issued a warning. The human noticed. Humans always noticed small changes. "You don't have to finish this," the human said. "Take us in if you must. But don't erase the truth." The lead soldier hesitated. That single moment of delay triggered something unexpected. Across the galaxy, feeds were being shared. Not officially. Quietly. Civilians. Scientists. Even lower military ranks were watching. They saw a human who did not beg. They saw an alien girl who refused to be grateful and silent. And they saw elite soldiers unsure of their own orders. Command channels exploded with conflicting instructions. Proceed. Hold. Abort. Observe. The galaxy could not decide. The girl suddenly cried out again. Her vision flared brighter than before. New patterns formed, human brain signals merging with the visor's system in real time. She understood then. The visor was not just technology. It was a bridge. It adapted not only to biology, but to intent. Fear weakened it. Control limited it. But trust made it stronger. The human reached out and held her hand. The station lights steadied. System stabilized. The soldiers' armor stopped receiving new commands. For the first time in their lives, the elite soldiers were disconnected. Free. The lead soldier slowly lowered his weapon. "This changes nothing," he said quietly. The human met his gaze. "It already has." Outside the station, ships began to withdraw. Not retreating. Reconsidering. The galaxy had come to take a human. Instead, it found something far more dangerous. A reason to doubt itself. The withdrawal was slow, careful, almost embarrassed. The massive ships outside the station did not flee. They simply drifted back, creating distance, as if space itself needed time to think. For a galaxy built on certainty, hesitation was a rare and frightening thing. Inside the station, no one spoke. The 4 elite soldiers stood in silence. Their weapons were no longer active. Their armor systems remained locked, disconnected from command. For the first time since their creation, they were alone with their thoughts. The human lowered his hands. Only then did the tension begin to ease. The girl removed the visor once more and held it close to her chest. She no longer cried. She was no longer overwhelmed. She felt complete. The lead soldier turned to the human. His voice was different now. Less mechanical. More uncertain. You have caused disruption on a scale you cannot understand. The human nodded. I know. Why risk it? The soldier asked. You gained nothing. The human looked around the station. At the workers slowly emerging from hiding. At the girl standing taller than before. At the quiet hum of machines still running because someone cared enough to fix them. I gained everything that matters, he replied. That answer was recorded. Archived. Studied. It confused every system designed to measure value. The soldiers received a final transmission. Not an order. A request. Observe. Do not engage. Report only. The galaxy was no longer sure what a human was. The soldiers stepped back. One by one, they turned and walked toward their ship. Before leaving, the 3rd soldier paused and looked at the girl. You will change your people, he said. She nodded. And you will change yours. Outside, the ships vanished into hyperspace. The station exhaled. In the days that followed, nothing returned to normal. News spread quietly at first, then faster. Other species began to ask questions long buried. Scientists reopened closed files. Old assumptions cracked. If a human could give sight where the galaxy had accepted darkness, what else had been wrongly labeled impossible? The girl became a symbol. Not of technology, but of choice. She returned to her people, not as a miracle, but as proof. Some rejected her. Others listened. That was enough. The human stayed where he was. He did not seek fame. He did not sell his design. He continued fixing machines, helping strangers, and living quietly. But he was no longer invisible. Observers watched him from afar. Not to arrest him. To understand him. Military academies updated their threat models. Humans moved from minor species to unpredictable variable. The most dangerous category of all. The 4 elite soldiers filed their report. It was short. Humans do not obey limits. They respond to suffering. They do not conquer with force, but with meaning. This makes them impossible to control. That report was marked confidential. And then ignored. Because the galaxy was not ready to admit the truth. That it had blinked first. That one human, with no weapon and no fleet, had forced an entire universe to pause. Not with fear. But with compassion. And in that pause, humanity took its first quiet step forward.